What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Ripple. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what's moving it, and just go over a little bit of a warning that people need to be aware of. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Ripple is up 0.85%, 1.23 billion for volume over the last 24 hours. So the volume is improving, but not to the same magnitude that it should. So I think a lot of people generally knew that cryptocurrency and obviously Ripple were going to move higher with good PCE. So it did come in better than anticipated. So thus a lot of cryptos are kind of moving up. And so I even posted this a couple days prior to PCE, where I did state that obviously with PCE's data, things were going to move higher, but it was only going to be for a weekend trade, that the fear is still going to continue to suppress cryptocurrency. And so even though I really like Ripple, and I still feel like it is one of the only ones that you should be dollar cost averaging on, I think a lot of people are getting too ahead of themselves. And I think at the same time, it's just a lot of YouTubers, not to call out 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗧𝗏, but he obviously shows up on my timeline here and there. And even looking at his thumbnails or his titles, Ripple, Bitcoin ready to pump, pump incoming. So in general, a lot of this, like the peak has already happened. From here on out, it is going to most likely move down a little bit. So I think just a lot of YouTubers and just finfluencers, whatever you want to call them, they are just pumping Ripple too much. And so in reality, you don't have a lot of people just telling you the truth. And for those of you that have been following my Ripple videos, they only get like 200 views, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It goes to show that people would prefer to be pumped up rather than hear the truth, because I've been a lot more accurate than 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗧𝗏 pretty much like all the time, for the most part. But when it comes down to right now, you do have the fear and greed index still at 20. So meaning there's a lot of fear. And this is the low that it has been for the last 2 years. So you see a lot of the main coins, ones with good utility, are moving higher, but there is a peak that is starting to happen. So in my opinion, this is a warning that given the volume, I think volume was just getting in simply as what I stated for this weekend only, and then they are going to essentially pull back. They want to wait for more confirmation coming from a macro standpoint that things are okay, because there's a lot of fear that inflation is going to move higher. And as much as a lot of people really like Bitcoin and whatever else, like, and previously said, hey, this is a good store of value, I think what has happened over the last little bit really just said F you to that. So again, you're always going to have pumpers for every single stock or crypto out there, but I think you need to take a step back and just look at a lot of the data. So when it comes down to Ripple, it is still ranked number 4 based on the market cap. Volume, like I said, is one key driver and data point that you need to watch for, as well as liquidations. So despite it actually moving higher, you are seeing a lot of longs closing out their positions. So even yesterday, there was 3.73 million in longs. Day prior, 20.36 million. So there's just still a lot of fear and hesitation. And in my opinion, come Sunday afternoon, you're going to see a substantial amount of longs again continuing to return, potentially retesting some of the recent lows. So I'm going to go over that on a technical standpoint. But as far as right now, like I said, I think it's one of the only coins that should be dollar cost averaging being done with. And again, you can, I guess, could extend that a little bit more to Bitcoin. But in the next year and a half, one big thing that's going to be posed from cryptocurrency is utility. Does this coin actually have a substantial benefit for the foreseeable future? So that's just my viewpoint. Of course, some people don't want to hear the truth, or just maybe I am wrong. I don't know. We'll just have to find out. But at the same time, a lot of people are also saying that alt season is starting, but looking at the Bitcoin dominance being at 60, that's not the case whatsoever. So Alt season definitely isn't coming on a side note. So again, just be careful with a lot of pumpers out there. With it at $2.16, trading between this pivot and this S1. So $1.84 is going to be that strong support. $2.33 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So it did actually have that nice push higher. So the peak was at $2.22. So kind of still stuck in limbo here, but as far as right now, it is running out of steam. So anything is possible. They could put out, let's say, a new catalyst coming from, let's say, the SEC, for instance, even though it's not anticipated. But 233 is going to be that key point that you really want to watch for it to get above in the short term. Aside from that, though, on the actual chart itself, I do have the 1-day chart up, 50, 100-day moving averages, ALMA, and also super trend, as well as stochastic RSI. So at least in the short term, one thing that really helped it over the last day or so is the fact that it's very oversold. So again, that's what really assisted in it really moving higher. It did fail to get above that ALMA, so that is currently at $2.20. So once again, whenever you have a strong resistance or support, vice versa, and it does fail to get above those, usually consolidation in the opposite direction does occur. So in my opinion, I think you might have a little bit of a consolidation that does occur on later today on Saturday, and then if it does fail to really get above that on Sunday, then you're going to see a broader retracement. But 4 hour, looking at that, you're seeing not really much activity, a little bit of consolidation here, but I think in general, like I said, it's just right now the market wants confirmation that things are going to be okay, and with a lot of tariffs and with a lot of data points all signaling that inflation potentially could be increasing, that's not what is a big driving factor with people's appetite for risk. And a lot of that does also directly affect consumers' buying power. So again, a lot of individuals just overcomplicate cryptocurrency, saying, oh, it's because of this, it's because of this. It is simply put, consumers' buying power combined with just people's appetite for risk. That is it. That is the only driving factor. What causes crypto to go up, down, sideways, loop-de-loop. That's what drives whales also to get in. So again, I think in the short term, there is going to be a little bit more pain coming. So just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points. But hopefully I'm wrong and it just goes to the moon. But no matter what, though, I do really like Ripple. It should be the only one that you dollar cost average on, and the only one that most likely you should be kind of buying the dip on, in my opinion, of course. So let me know your thoughts on that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Are you buying the dip? Are you selling? What's your general takeaway from all of that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And then one final thing, if you do want a lot of buy signals, such as this right here, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.